Hi, I'm Rick from Metalware. I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about meat slicers, the different types that are out there, what you should consider when choosing the meat slicer that you want. Now today we have the FG250. It's the charred meat slicer. There's a lot of slicers like this out in the market. I could tell you some differentials, but let's start with this. One of the most important things on any slicer is going to be the blade itself. You can see on this one we have a covered blade, so you have just a little bit of the blade exposed right here. Other slicers are going to have the whole blade exposed. Those are usually a little lower cost. If you ever go to a deli, you'll see just like this, there's just a little bit of blade exposed. If you want to do thin meats, this is the type of concave blade that you want. There's two different types of slicers, whether you have a gear-driven or a belt-driven. This particular one's a belt-driven. That's what you're going to see at most commercial delis. You're going to see a belt-driven slicer. But honestly, gear-driven slicers for occasional use are perfect for what you need them to be. But I'll show you a few other things too, just how you can adjust the blade. And in previous videos, I've talked about the fact that freezing meat or semi-freezing meat's a really good trick to slicing meat easily and effectively. And I recommend it really highly when you're doing slicing because it keeps the integrity of the meat solid, and that allows you to pass it across the blade a little bit easier. So we've done that with our piece of meat here today. I've got it all set up to go. As you can see, I can turn the motor on. It's not terribly loud. I'm gonna grab it by the blade. Now, people wonder how you're supposed to stand when you're slicing. Really at the short end and pushing away from you. Not standing from the front, but at the end. Now you'll see a nice thin piece of meat right there. We have a nice thin piece of meat. Now, one of the things I use a slicer for the most is making meat for jerky. But what you want is a consistent thickness. That way when you put on the smoker or on the dehydrator, you're gonna have jerky that all turns out at the same rate. If you're trying to cut it by hand, what often happens is you get a little bit of variation. Some are thicker, some are thinner, and you don't get the consistency that you want at the end. Some are a little bit more done, some are a little less done. By using a slicer, you're gonna have a consistent thickness every time. You're gonna have better results on your smoker or dehydrator when you're all done. Hey guys, just want to talk a little bit about how to clean up your slicer at the end. It's actually relatively simple. I got a couple tips and tricks for you as well. And you'll notice basically everything tilts forward. I can clean everything, but the first thing I want to do is take that blade adjustment and push that right back up. That way I can get my hand across so I'm not going to cut on anything. Before I clean anything, I'm making sure that it's unplugged, turned off, and now everything tilts forward. It's stainless steel. It's really easy to clean up. You take a Phillips screwdriver, just unscrew that a couple turns, that plate comes off, and generally speaking, the only thing that's dirty is the very front part of the blade. That blade will come off. Careful, it's super sharp, but if you wash it just like a kitchen knife, it's stainless steel. You wash it with a little soap and water, let it drip dry off on the side, and when you're done, reinstall everything and it's ready to go for next time. It's super simple. It doesn't take long to do it. Hey guys, if you're looking for more tips and tricks on how to process at home, specifically about how to use our slicers, check out charredproducts.com.